Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really honored and happy to be able to welcome and address all of you at today's Nilai University Convocation Ceremony for the year 2021. Like last year, circumstances have forced us to hold this special event in a virtual manner. COVID-19 pandemic has placed us into this unfortunate situation. Our hope at last year's convocation ceremony that the pandemic would not extend into this year did not materialize. Sadly, all our prayers were not answered. This virtual ceremony is definitely not our choice. Being an academic traditionalist myself, I would choose and favor the normal convocation rituals that I have been familiar with for the last 6 decades. I'm quite sure that you too, as graduating students, would have looked forward to the moment when you, dressed up in your academic gowns and with somber music in the background, marching smartly into the hall, filled and welcomed by your attending friends and families. I'm also confident that you would have cherished the moment when your name is announced by your dean, inviting you to come up the stage to receive your most deserved scroll. For my part, I would have loved to hand over that scroll to each and every one of you, shake your hands whilst congratulating you on your success. I would like to see you in the eye and exchange a few words with you personally, not virtually as we are doing today. In our moment of disappointment, however, we ought to be thankful that our staff have made special arrangements that the virtual handing over of the scroll is captured in a photograph that you can actually keep in your album. You are lucky compared to your predecessors last year. For all their efforts and contributions, I would like to take this opportunity to extend our collective appreciation and thank you to the management and staff of Nilai University. I would now like to proceed with the ceremony and to officially confer upon you your respective awards. My dear graduates, with the power vested in me as Chancellor of Nilai University, I confer on every one of you the degree and diploma as listed in the Nilai University website. Allow me the honor and pleasure to be the first to congratulate you on your success and also to welcome you into your new status as graduates. Congratulations and well done. And now you can begin with your parties and celebrations. But please don't forget to observe the SOPs imposed by the authorities. You have every reason to celebrate and to be happy. You have definitely worked very hard to be able to satisfy the various boards and bodies that have the necessary knowledge and skills to qualify for all these coveted awards. In your hour of merriment, please do not forget to show your appreciation to all those who have contributed to your success. I sincerely hope that you don't do this virtually. The teaching and supporting staff at Nilai University should deserve a big thank you from all of you. They too have worked very hard, and in some cases, I'm sure, with a lot of patience too, so that you could complete your studies according to schedule. Needless to say, you have your family to thank for having encouraged and supported you throughout your schooling and university years. Your parents must have worked and struggled to save and pay for your education. In some cases, I am sure that support can be tantamount to sacrifices. They have deprived themselves of many pleasures, like dining in fancy restaurants and buying branded clothing. They have denied themselves of well-deserved holidays so that they can have the funds to pay for your education. They may not even mention this to you and ask you for your appreciation. It is your duty to remember and to commit yourself to show this lifelong gratitude. Please don't ever forget that. Dear graduates, after the euphoria of your celebrations and clearing the hangover from your indulgences, you will now wake up to realize the challenges that lie ahead. In some cultures, even your parents cease to consider you as their responsibility and to ask you to be on your own. Fortunately, we Malaysians are not like that. We still allow you some breathing space and a cushion to jumpstart into your new life. But you must not assume that as your right. The COVID pandemic has continued to persist. It has devastated the world economy. Corporations and companies, big and small, are forced to downsize and some even to close down. Millions of workers have been affected. Retrenchments have continued, and engagement and employment have been slow. And you are all going to be affected. Your newly acquired scrolls may not be automatic master keys that open easy doors to preferred jobs. No words can explain or appease your impending hardships. You may be spending days, weeks, months, but hopefully not years, looking for the right job. Your job applications may not even get an acknowledgement or the kind of response that you expect. Frustrations may begin to set in. The overall scenario is really gloomy or even scary. With dark clouds looming everywhere, nobody or even dare make any predictions. Even prime ministers are not certain of their future. Nobody seems to have the right crystal ball anymore. In the meantime, what is your own response to these daunting challenges? Mope and moan, eat your heart out, and just give up? I don't think that is the kind of approach you should adopt. I strongly discourage that. Instead, use this period of uncertainty to plan for your future. You need to have a roadmap of your career and your life path. You are now in your early 20s, and in this country, we retire at the age of 65 years. You need to have a reasonable plan to guide you for the next 40 years until your retirement. I can assure you that this is not an easy task. If I may suggest, on the first day when you report for duty for your first job, take a few moments to look at the office building. Imagine that it has 40 floors, with each floor representing each year of your working life. Structurally and organizationally, the pecking order is usually according to one's position. Right at the top, normally the penthouse, sits the CEO of the corporation, and in the basement will be the janitors and the drivers. Joining as a graduate, you may be placed on the second or third floor. I'm quite sure that you'll be looking at occupying the penthouse at some stage in your career, but definitely not after your retirement. You have a plan how to get to that penthouse. Some may opt to go one floor every year, doing it leisurely and slowly. If you are too relaxed, however, you may also be at risk of being kicked out of the back door very early. Others, who are more ambitious, would probably plan to get there faster and earlier. They may choose the elevator instead, then walk floor by floor. If your plan to take that fast track, which is very commendable, you must also be prepared to expand your knowledge and upgrade your skills. You may have to plan for advanced degrees and training. You must not forget that there may be others in that race, each trying to outdo you. That race to the top floor is really grueling. That's why it's usually referred to as a rat race. It is not a test of sportsmanship. It's more a show of one-upmanship, characterized by jealousies, backbitings, and backstabbings. It is definitely not for the weak and faint-hearted. And you must be prepared to face and endure all that. If not, you shall fall by the wayside. Within the environment of that race, it is also important that you must learn to work with your colleagues well and in good harmony. This may need special soft and social skills. In this respect, it would be most useful if you can learn how to be civil with your co-workers. A small hint in achieving this is for you to avoid committing any of the 7 deadly sins, but embracing and practicing as many of the 70 virtues. If you are not familiar with the concept of sins and virtues, you are advised to look at the Google. In the event of your race to the penthouse is not progressing smoothly or facing too many obstacles, your plan must be flexible enough to make some pragmatic adjustments. Don't be shy about this. Open your office window. Look at other buildings around you. They too have penthouses that you can choose to go to. Dear graduates, allow me to share one small observation that I've made in my 8 decades of experience. Your job and career is very important in your life, but it is not everything. As a matter of fact, it is only a small part of your life. You normally work from 9 to 5, 8 hours a day, 5 hours a week, giving you a total of 40 hours out of a total of 148 hours a week. You have the weekends, public holidays, and our country has one of the highest in the world. And then you have your annual leave, not to mention medical leave. All these hours and time usually don't involve your office or your colleagues. We hardly socialize with our office workers. You must also have a plan for this larger portion of your life. You must ensure that you are active in your family, home, community, country, and the larger world too. Please also look after your recreation, your health, and above all, your happiness during your retirement. All this put together constitute a happy and wholesome life. I sincerely wish you well in both your career as well as your life. Thank you.